all of that game.
I had a blitz of football yesterday. It was Arsenal, Salford, Tottenham, West Ham, and then Chelsea, Brentford. And starting with Arsenal. Madueke, Eze. When you think about Martinelli and Saka, you thought they would dominate the left and right wing of Arsenal for the next 5-10 years. And yet you're watching two players yesterday, and obviously Saka will come back in, and so will Martinelli play games as well. But Madueke's a lot better than I imagined and thought he would be, and certainly a lot better than Arsenal fans thought he would be. A couple of runs that he made for England on Wednesday night, Tuesday night, were a different level. Their runs, I thought, ooh, them runs. Iron Robin used to make those runs against me. I'm giving you players of sort of like a level where you think, oh, I'm up against it. This is a different type of player. Sometimes you play against wingers who are dribbling at you, and you know they've got a trick, and you know that you're going to be in for a difficult day. And then you've got players who are like a step above, a level above. Now, I'm not saying Madueke is there yet, but his movements and the things that he's doing are very, very good. And I'm talking from a fullback's perspective, playing against it. And Eze looks like he's got that little bit of something. Well, he has got that something. So you look at those two now. Gyökeres, good day for him. The problem is with Arsenal, they've got so many silky players and football players, and Zubimendi and Ødegaard and Madueke, Eze, Declan Rice. And then you look at sort of Gyökeres, and he's a misfit. He's a misfit for that group of players in the sense of he's not, sort of like technically amazing. But I actually like that sort of contrast, that idea of having this battering ram who's a little bit sort of ungainly, and I think he'll beat up small teams. Whether he'll do it in the big games and score in the big games, not as sure. I think that the best defenders might handle him, and we'll see. But I think he'll beat up smaller teams for Arsenal, which that's not a bad thing. Scoring loads of goals and getting 20 goals this season, which he could do, doesn't necessarily all have to be against the big teams. He'll want the odd one or two against them. But just early on, seeing him be a real threat, a real handful. And I think Arsenal need a bit of imperfection in their attack. Maybe someone that they can get it into the box a little bit quicker. Well, it was a good day for Arsenal. Forest, Angie's first game, not quite at it.
I was just going to mention, because you did briefly, Zubimendi, who actually, he's not a big fella, is he?
No.
And yet he looks like he carries real authority in that midfield.
I actually thought he was as important to sign as Gyökeres, because I think that when I saw Arsenal last season, I actually thought there were moments where Jorginho played, where he just pops those balls through lines. And I'm not sure Declan Rice and Partey. It's interesting how Declan Rice is now being used by Mikel Arteta, but also by Thomas Tuchel, and in that advanced role. And Elliot Anderson played deeper for England, obviously, in the midweek. I actually think that's where Declan Rice should be, up in top of the game, up the pitch, not receiving it off his back foot. That's not to say he can't do it in certain matches. But Zubimendi, I thought they really needed that type of player, Arsenal, to receive the ball in there and then pop it through into Ødegaard quicker, get it forward quicker, break the lines. So not quite I wasn't expecting him to sign for volleys from outside the box or headers at the back post, which is what we got yesterday. But that's the quality of him. He's got great technical ability. He showed us something. I think that I was watching it on obviously the television, and they said that it maybe was only third headed goal in his career or something like that. But for me, Zubimendi, if he can start to just, it's not been an explosive start from him, but if he can start to grow and get better and build that sort of relationship in midfield with Rice and Ødegaard, who obviously went off yesterday, and then you can start to get Saka back and a couple of the others, and before you know it, obviously Saliba's out currently, but Mosquera's done well since he's coming. So Arsenal got real depth. I think Martinelli and Trossard came on sort of like really late on, and that's like almost like 5th and 6th wingers now. It's amazing where Arsenal are at with the wide players and their creative ability. So yeah, they just need to be a little bit more, just take a bit more risk. I think Arsenal, even yesterday, just a bit more risk. Just lift it by 5% in terms of your expression and your risk, because you've got the players to do it.
Well, that's what you said at Anfield the other week.
Yeah, just lift it. I mean, win games, keep clean sheets, be pragmatic, be great at set pieces, but just have that little bit more freedom, that little bit more something that might just be the spark and that edge that gets you over the line.
So we'll finish on Chelsea in just a second, because you saw them yesterday as well. But since you're on Arsenal, and based on what you've seen here and what you saw yesterday, just preview in that context Arsenal Man City next week.
If I'm looking at that from an Arsenal perspective, I'm thinking this is a game I've got to win. yeah, I think it's a game I've got to win. I think Arsenal are a better team currently and a more all-round team than this Manchester City team. But they're going to have problems in the game. You know, there's no doubt that Manchester City are going to cause them problems because they've got too many good players. They've got to handle Haaland. You've got to handle Foden and Bernardo Silva and Doku, who have got real individual ability to be able to create moments. So there's, you know, Arsenal are going to have to play really well in this game next week. But balancing that defensive sort of pragmatic solidity that they have, and we know they can, you know, deploy in big matches, and then having that ability to think we've got to win this match, and that mentality of winning the match. And that starts from the manager with his team selection. It starts then with the players when they get on the pitch with that sort of element of just going for it in moments where they can and not holding back, you know, and having that real expression and that sort of, yeah, that's something different that they need to win big matches. And they've been good in big matches, this Arsenal team. So yeah, I think it's a game that Arsenal have to win. I think if Pep Guardiola, it's a tougher game for City than it is for Arsenal, but for City, if you really want to let people know that you're back in the title race and you really want to shake it up, then go and win. Go and win at the Emirates next Sunday, because that will sort of shake things up and rock things a little bit.
Should be a fabulous game.